This video is face control with the wedges. So when we're looking in the finesse wedges or we're looking in more the distance wedges, you'll tend to see a slightly different pattern for face control than we'll see with the stock full swing. With the stock full swing, we want to have that early club face rotation so that I can have that downswing loading and really getting that body behind the golf ball with a whole lot of side bend. With the finesse wedges and the distance wedges, my upper body is going to be a lot more level or stacked on top of my lower body. And so in order to get the height, I'm not going to have a lot of that side bend. I'm going to have to straighten my arms more to get that down towards the golf ball. Because I'm straightening my arms, I'm going to have a little different timing and method of squaring the face. With the wedges to square the face, instead of having it rotate right from the top of the swing, unless I wanted to hit kind of a low running punch wedge shot. If I wanted to hit more of a stock swing, or a stock wedge swing I should say, the face is going to resist rotation. So it's pretty much going to stay at about the same alignment, and then it's going to rotate as the club passes me, as opposed to twisting the face to the path. So one way that you can work on that is feeling a little bit more of that unhinge and then keeping this shoulder long. You'll see that as I straighten my arms, now the back of my hand is facing the target, right? So you can use the back of the hand or the palm of the right hand as a little bit of a reference for where the club face would be. With the full swing, we would have it twist and kind of point like this, and so my body would have to rotate to get out of the way so that the back of my left hand and the palm of my right hand are pointing more at the target. So it's a little awkward timing for golfers who are really used to the full swing kind of motion, and it can be awkward going the other way if you're better at more of this arm straightening club face closing method. But one way that you can work on that is kind of feeling a little bit of a pump where you keep the extension in the lead wrist and flexion in the trail wrist, and you just kind of work down more like so, as opposed to getting a ton of that shaft lean like that. Okay, so to complement the pivot, I can work on having that face feel a little bit more like there's no rotation there during transition, and then it rotates more because the club is passing my hands as opposed to twisting the shaft. It will tend to have a tempo feeling of a little bit more early energy into the club and then just kind of coasting with the body pivot on the way through, as opposed to with the full swing where I would have more of this twist and I'd be open, and then I'd have a lot more of the arm extension from that leg, and you could hear that I hit that a lot higher up on the face from having all that leg, which tends to produce more of a higher and flatter swing, where when I have this wedge face rotation of letting it stay a little bit more neutral, getting a little bit more on top and having it straighten because my arm is getting straight, that tends to hit lower on the face and tends to produce a little bit more spin. Now, if you're struggling with feeling the arm rotation, sometimes it can help if you focus more on the location of the upper body. So feeling, a number of very good wedge players have described the feeling of that right shoulder staying high. And basically, if that right shoulder stays high, then the only way I can get the club all the way down to the golf ball is to have a little bit earlier and more full arm movement. So if you're struggling with the club face orientation during this ball or during the wedge shots, pay attention to the first movements and make sure that it's not rotating, that it's working a little bit more kind of vertically or lacking that rotation, and then it'll rotate late, but mostly from the straightening of the arm, not so much the twisting of the shaft. And this applies to the distance wedges probably up until you get to your 100-yard, 120-yard shot. So then from down the line, you'll see a little bit more of that early club face staying pretty square. Kind of like this. I don't want to hit it too far just because that's hole number one. With the distance wedge, you'll tend to see a little bit earlier of that right shoulder as the upper body gets a little bit more on top.